So I did get a new camera for this. Anyways, so yeah, I got a new camera. Also, oh, I should have brought the thing with me. But today we're going to talk about why pH is important to measure, because I had a recent, and why you have to monitor everything after a water change, because I learned that the hard way. Nothing died, of course, in my first tank with a little puff, all of them, everything's fine. But the first, so I had some catfish nearly die. I had aquarium salt on hand, and I think it was either a bacterial infection or the pH didn't work, or chlorine made it in. There was so much, so I guess I should start at the beginning of the story. So, our water is not the water company that I use, that the house uses, is not the best for fish keeping. They've had multiple times when water's just leaked, and then after I've done water changes, weeks after this has happened, after something like this has happened, like where water just comes out of the ground, a pipe burst. Weeks after that happens, I'll still have difficulty changing water. And so and sometimes it'll just go really wrong. So I had so this week, yesterday actually, I had catfish floating, which is not the best thing to do. And when you have catfish just floating, and this, imagine my fingers right here are the head, and this is the tail. They're floating like this. So I had one catfish float like this. It's still kind of off, but it's doing much better. I'm glad I acted so quickly. That definitely saved a lot of time. You need to act quickly when it comes to pH, and this is kind of my part 2 to doing water changes properly, I should say. So you have to act quickly if something goes wrong after a water change. I used aquarium salt, and you need to look at the package before you do aquarium salt. I'm also talking about what happens when a water change goes wrong. Things can go wrong and will go wrong. It's Murphy's Law. It's gonna happen. So, as I said, I think it was bacterial, because a couple minutes after I added my aquarium salt, everything was back to normal. But it's just the fact that it was so strange, the fact that it just happened. It happened so quickly. And so bacteria is sometimes in your water. It's going to happen. pH can sometimes just be different in your water. It's going to happen. So there are different, API has a few things. That's the pH up or pH down. That's the product that they use. I'm pretty sure other companies have something similar. So you can use that if pH goes haywire, which is why it's always important to have a test kit to make sure what's going on, to figure out what's going on. Or in my case, I think it was bacterial, because I added the dechlorinator. I couldn't do a water change because I'm pretty sure if I had added more water or just stressed out the fish more, it would have ended real badly. And also the other tank, my rare fish tank, nothing was going wrong. It was just this singular fish tank. So something was going on with the bacteria, which is how I deduced it was probably a bacterial infection. So, use the instructions that it says. If you do something wrong, you can kill your fish. The salt said use 2 tablespoons. This was API, aquarium salt, and it said use 2 tablespoons per fish tank. And freshwater fish do work with aquarium salt. I have to say that. It's like a medication. So for people who don't know what aquarium salt is, I do feel like I have to specify here and now. So that's why I just dumped that in, and it worked its magic. And 20 minutes or so, actually I'd say more about 10. The catfish was back. It was halfway in the tank. After the first hour, it was like this. And it's still kind of just up there right now. I'm looking at it right now, and it's doing fine. Everything else is doing fine. None of the catfish are having any bad reactions. And this is why you should always observe your fish after a water change. At the same time, there's another thing I probably forgot to mention, and that's I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind, don't listen to me. I don't write scripts. I hate scripts. Scripts are dumb. That's why I'm just mentioning stuff off the top of my head that I know as a fish keeper. I know there are other people who are gonna comment down below and be like, hey, you forgot this, and I feel like that's a good idea. So measuring pH is obviously the first thing you should do after a water change goes haywire. If it's not that, and if you have another tank that's just doing just fine, then feel free to use the aquarium salt antibacterial stuff. And if the fish are still acting crazy, put them in a quarantine tank. Put the strange ones in a quarantine tank. I have my quarantine set up. I have Endler's live bears in there right now, and I'm probably just gonna sell them off for like $1. It's also strange because they might have gotten infected from a bite. I know that some fish, Endler's, I have seen them go. My brothers actually went crazy, killed a frog, nearly bit off one of the neon tetras. I have both of them in my tank, but it nearly bit off one of their tails. Like, it's like stubby and short like that. So nearly bit off one of their tails. So always check if you have a fin nipper. That's how stuff can get infected. I mean, I know that one of the catfish's fins had like a little dent where something had bitten it off or something. I know it had injured itself recently, so I need to keep an eye on that. I need to figure out what's doing that. But anyways, that's all I have to say. Like and subscribe. Video's now filmed in 4K.